Welcome back. NTT Data, a $30 billion business and tech leader, launching new AI factories in the U.S. and across the world, all powered by Nvidia. This effort will help businesses scale AI more efficiently and increase model training speed, support data-driven operations across cloud environments. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang says that the phase of AI build-out is just beginning. Writing in an essay, quote, every successful application pulls on every layer beneath it, all the way down to the power plant that keeps it alive. We have only just begun this build-out. We are a few $100 billion into it. Trillions of dollars of infrastructure still need to be built, says Huang. Joining me now is the president and CEO of NTT Data, Abhijit Dubey. Abhijit, congratulations. Thanks so much for being here. Tell us more about what we need to understand about these factories and this global effort to build out these AI data centers, Abhijit.
First of all, thanks for having me here. You know, what we've noticed over the last year is this move towards much more of a federated intelligence sort of environment. And what that really means is a lot of enterprises want more of a private and or sovereign AI infrastructure. And that's driven in part by some combination of geopolitics, mostly about IP protection, and some regulatory environments, depending on where you are in different parts of the world. And the big bottleneck to AI deployment right now at scale actually ends up being the infrastructure. And so what this partnership is all about is we take NVIDIA's accelerated compute architectures, their AI software, and we combine that with our industry knowledge, our domain knowledge, our AI orchestration ecosystems, and our systems integration capabilities to really deliver turnkey end-to-end industry vertical solutions for our clients.
Yeah, I mean, all of this demand and this money going into data centers has created quite the competitive backdrop here for companies. And the last time Jensen Huang joined me, we talked about that competitive landscape. I want to get your take on what he said. Watch this.
Our space is incredibly competitive. NVIDIA is the only company in the world today that can build the entire AI infrastructure, which the Vera Rubin was just announced. It takes 6 revolutionary new chips that builds these infrastructures that go for $30, $40, $50 billion at a pop. And so the scale by which we do things, NVIDIA's $20 billion annual R&D budget. We're the only company in the world that's cranking these things out every single year.
That's incredible, that $20 billion budget that he's talking about, Abhijit. What's your take on where this goes? Because you know the skepticism out there that companies are spending so much money and they're waiting for an investment return on that money.
Yeah, I think, you know, the long-term arc of the potential for AI in terms of the productivity that it can enable and the GDP growth that it can unlock is, you know, it's not debatable in my mind. I think we can always have a situation where you have misallocation of capital a little bit in the short term. And, you know, we are the only company in the world that actually sees both parts of the equation, the infrastructure build out, as we are the world's 3rd largest data center provider. And we see the diffusion of this technology in enterprises because we are one of the top global systems integrated companies as well. But because we see both parts of the equation, we do see a little bit of a short-term recalibration that's required and a rebalancing because the infrastructure build-out is significantly ahead of the diffusion that we see in the enterprises. But in the long term, you know, as Jensen says, we are in the very early innings of this whole technological revolution. And there is no doubt in our minds that this is here to stay for the very long term.
Yeah, and Abhijit, I want to get your take on the military use of AI as well, because we know that there's an enormous demand on commercial and private sector demand. But the military use is really front and center now when we're in the middle of this war. The president is reportedly ready to sign a new executive order, which cuts ties with AI company Anthropic after that fallout it has had with the Pentagon. As you know, Anthropic is suing the Trump administration and Pete Hegseth for labeling the company a supply chain risk. U.S. forces are using advanced missile and AI technology right now to attack Iran and take out military infrastructure there. Beijing, meanwhile, at the same time is accelerating its own use of AI technology in an attempt to beat the United States in terms of AI, while increasing surveillance on America, as it has been doing for so long. What is your take on this fallout with Anthropic? And give us your sense of AI's use in the military.
Actually, I mean, AI is not unique in sort of a technology in its military use. If you look at most of the big technological revolutions, the major accelerator of that actually has been the military. In many cases, actually, that's where it's been invented. So this is not a unique situation. At the same time, I think it is quite important that we all make sure that the way we use AI is done in a responsible manner. Now, we are a global systems integration company. We don't actually play in defense. We only serve enterprise customers. So it's not really that relevant for us, and we support any models that our customers want. But it is important that we build in the responsibility within whatever we do for our enterprise clients.
Yeah, well, founders and investors across the country are starting to talk about this new reality, the software as a service apocalypse, or SaaS apocalypse in some instances. What's your take there? I mean, AI has been replacing entire software categories and large portions of human workflow. Abhijit, people are worried about this. Tell us how this plays out.
I think it's a tale of two worlds, Maria. So if you are a software company today or a SaaS company today that has a distinctive moat, and the moat is defined as either you're running a mission-critical workflow, or you have a very, very sticky user experience that it's very hard to move the users of that application to a new sort of user experience, or you control the systems of record. If you have those kinds of moats, I really don't see them being displaced in the short term. In fact, they will build the agentic capabilities on top of their software applications. But if you're a long-tail SaaS provider, I mean, to be honest, any SaaS provider that's less than $100 million revenue is under threat. And I think the long-tail SaaS will probably disappear in the medium term.
And in terms of prices right now, Abhijit, are you expecting the price of all of this to go higher given this demand?
Well, I think right now, Maria, we have a huge shortage of memory, as you know. So the infrastructure cost is going to go up across all categories.
Yeah.
The software cost will actually, the unit cost of software will go down because AI makes it so much more productive. But that is something that will drive a lot more consumption, I believe.
Yeah.
And actually, it'll lead to a new renaissance in custom applications, custom agentic application builds in enterprises.
Yeah, because, the president has seen the worries over the price of electricity, which is why he's telling these companies, look, you want to build out these data centers, the cost is on you. Your reaction?
The power is a critical bottleneck, which is why we think that we need fundamental innovation in two places. A fundamental innovation in the compute architecture. So we have been investing a lot of R&D on our own to replace all electronics with all photonics, because what happens is electronics is what generates the heat, and that's what consumes a lot of power. If you can replace all electronics with all photonics, you reduce the power consumption by almost 100 times, right? So that is a huge breakthrough. We've demonstrated that already in terms of if you take one PCB board connection to another PCB board connection, you can replace the electronics with the photonics. Now we're working on how do you do it within the chip itself. And if the industry can move into that direction, that will dramatically change the equation of the power demands that this AI infrastructure requires. At the same time, we're also working with the ecosystem providers to say, okay, how do we decentralize power generation itself at the data center location itself, right?
Abhijit, thank you so much. We're watching your work, all very exciting in this amazing moment in time. Abhijit Dubey, thank you, sir. We'll see you soon. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much, Maria.